Buddy, we are back again for another episode of The Coach's Compass. Again, don't know what episode it is because we just continue to roll on and continue to bring on cool guests from all across the world. It's your boy, Coach Coop, reporting live from the US of A. Coach Jay cannot be here with us tonight because unfortunately he has practice. Again, he's going through his retirement year and trying to figure out what life is like after football. I'm already done. I'm enjoying life. I'm getting all the free time, so I get to be on here and talk to cool guests. As always, hit that like, subscribe, comment button down below so we can continue to have this thing grow and continue to bring on cool people from all across the world. But another dope guest with us tonight. We got Coach Sarah. She's an online fitness coach. She helps women get fit and gain confidence. One-on-one women's fitness and nutrition coaching online and also in person. So Coach Sarah, thank you for being here with us today and welcome.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to get to chat on the podcast.
Yeah. So as we jump into this, what got you started in the fitness field and nutrition and stuff?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I had so much energy that my mom was like, "All right, we gotta do something with this." So she put me in gymnastics, and I was 3. So basically, I grew up in the gym. When I started progressing through the levels, I learned that I just really enjoyed the sport of gymnastics. And then from there, just got really competitive with it to the point where I did school literally at gymnastics. So I was there all the time. We trained 30 hours a week. I just loved having like a passion for something and getting to like work hard to achieve my goals. And then, yeah, just having so much energy, like it definitely was a good outlet for me to work on just like doing things and using my body in like a smart way and having training and like coaches to guide me in the process.
What was it like going from, being an athlete full time to now switching over to kind of only coaching now? Because I mean, that's a hard transition that a lot of us athletes talk about is like trying to figure out how to not necessarily like let go of being an athlete, but that side of us kind of you got to stop competing, you got to stop working towards that. So now you're putting all your focus on coaching for your clients. How did that go for you?
Yeah, I'd say one word, weird. I feel like that's everyone's story. It's just really weird leaving like something that you've done your whole life. But I actually did enjoy it a lot because literally, like I said, 30 hours a week, that is a lot and it's super repetitive. Like there's no off season in gymnastics either. Like you're always going. There's no breaks. So I got burned out. I fractured my back, like lots of things in the process. I was so burned out. I was just doing it because I was a gymnast. So after that, it was hard to quit because it was just weird. But at the same time, I really, really loved it. I started going into the gym. This is kind of where I got into the fitness side of things. Like I started lifting, started like not obsessing, but kind of like love learning about how to train your body, how to fuel it properly. Nutrition and fitness became like a big thing. But I started taking it as like an outlet versus like gymnastics. It started to get to the point where it was just like super competitive, super strict, high end, and obviously I got burned out. So how can I make this sustainable and like enjoy being active and working out? So I started taking it more on just like movement for the body and like finding fun ways to stay in shape and be healthy and active. And that's kind of what I've turned it into sharing with women is like it doesn't have to be something to be like scared of. It's not like always going to be draining. Like I'm trying to help women find a healthy lifestyle that is sustainable.
Yeah, which is tough. I mean, especially, you said you spent 30 hours a week training. What was an average day of training for gymnastics like? Because I know we have a lot of listeners from the European side and then also Olympics are coming up right now. What is it like to train as a gymnast? Because I think that's a hard part for us football players too to understand like how y'all's training goes.
Yeah, that's actually a good question. And one thing about me, I love learning how all sports train. Like I love it. It's so cool to me. But anyway, so basically an average training day, let's just say Monday, for example, we'd get in there around 8 a.m., train 3.5 hours. We would have 2 hours to eat lunch and do school. And then we would train another 3 hours after that. We would do that 3 times a week. So we had 3 double days and then 2 5-hour practices straight. So yeah, the double days would be we have 4 events, so there's bars, beam, floor, and vault, and you'd spend however long they need you to. Usually it's like over an hour on each event. And then on the double days, you'll just go back to an event. And we also have like an hour of strength training, which is kind of insane because like you destroy yourself in an hour of strength training, and then you have to go like practice, which is everything is strength and gymnastics, anyways. So you go practice after you're already kind of dead.
That's insane. That's a lot. That's in one day.
Yeah, I'm like, I look back, I'm like, how did I do that? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think back to my, high school, college football days and think of some of the stuff that our coaches put us through. And like, man, how did I go through that? Because now even like
Yeah.
trying to make it through an hour, 2 hour workout is like, oof, like I'm done for the day. You're talking about like 5 hours of training, 2 hours of a break, and then another 5 hour training. Like, coach, like I'm checked out. I'm good. I'm done.
And they do it the next day.
Yeah, but like kudos to you for going through that. Now, after you switched over to the coaching side, what are, especially for the women, what are some of the things that you see, like some of the struggles that you see some women face when it comes to the fitness industry? And, you know, we talk about social media, body image, and all this stuff that like, oh, I don't want to lift because I don't want to be too bulky, or I don't want, I do a bunch of cardio so like I can slim down. Like, what are some of the things that, like, and the messages that you're delivering to women to help them overcome these fears and struggles?
Yeah, there's honestly so many. I think like the main factors that I get from women, one, they feel like they don't have structure, so they're kind of like lost in knowing what to do. So they'll go to the gym kind of like unconfident, and they're like, I'm gonna do this and then this, and they don't feel like they're getting in good workouts because they're just kind of confused. Another one is the confidence aspect too, so like helping them truly get their headspace right, because if you're not good in your head with your body image, like it's not fully always going to get better the more you work out. Like you're always going to be wanting to change something. So it's really, really getting your headspace right. Another big thing too, like you said, is getting bulky. Women are like, I want to tone down, which yes, that's like a thing, but it's not fully accurate. And I feel like you know this. So like um, obviously, to get a toned body, you have to like put on muscle. Like you need a foundation and a structure. If you do what you just said, like a lot of women, they'll be like, I just want to do cardio, but you'll get that like I guess skinny fat is what people call it because you don't have a foundation of strength, and it's not really healthy either. Because if you're just losing weight, it's not really the best for your bone structure or anything like that. Like it's so important to have strength, and just throwing this message out there like you are not going to get bulky. Like it's so hard to put on a lot of muscle. Like it takes time. Like you see guys and stuff, they're like out here shoving food down their face to bulk up. Like it's not gonna change. And if it changes, if you start seeing a progression you don't like, you can just reel it back and make changes. So it's nothing to be scared of. It's a slow process.
How do you get women to, overcome that though? Like, because that's a hard headspace to get into. I mean, even for a lot of males, talking about, just the nutrition side and like trying to like get over the ego lifting of like, oh, go in there, lift super heavy all the time. And now you're talking about women like, hey, you don't have to go in there and do cardio all the time. Like actually lifting weights is going to help you and be beneficial. How do you get them into that headspace and mind space and mindset to like, hey, it's okay to go lift weights and like lift a little heavy sometimes. Like you don't have to go and lift all heavy all the time, but like
Mhm.
that happy medium.
Yeah, I think everything is changing nowadays too, which helps. Like you're starting to see a lot more women in the gym. So that's one thing that helps. Like on Instagram, you see a lot of women lifting weights. So I think it's becoming more normal to be able to like show them they've seen it a bit. So I think they're starting to realize. And then two, like I think at least for me, I'm pretty lucky. Like most women that come to me, they want a change. They want something. So they're willing to just listen to the coach and kind of understand, like, oh, this is the process. Like, I went through the process myself, so I do know how it goes. So, kind of explaining to them and encouraging them, like, this is how I train myself. There's many other women that we've helped get through the process. So, just kind of like having that data and like evidence from other women in the gym as well, lifting weights.
Yeah. And then with the online space, like how was it to, because it's it's a new field, not even new. I guess COVID times made it super popular, to kind of train online and do nutrition and stuff online instead of kind of being so much in person. How's it been for you to navigate that space of, doing online training and the tedious work it takes to, sit at the computer and kind of work with your clients and not have that one-on-one in-person touch?
Yeah, it's funny because, well, one, it's been honestly super stressful. The online world is like this whole, just, it's just, there's so much to do in the online space. It's mind blowing. You like open up one thing and then there's like 10 other things you have to do with like marketing and sales. So running a business is not easy. I'm in the process of figuring it out and I honestly struggle with it a bit. But it has been good. It's beneficial because you can help more people versus like obviously if you're doing in person, you're just filling your days and one you'll get kind of tired too. So I feel like it's better to be able to guide more clients than you would in person. The only thing is me personally, I love in-person training, so I do have to at least have a few clients in person just cuz it's so good to like build a connection. You can have a better connection with the people you're there physically watching them and guiding them. So I'm kind of in the both space. Like I love in-person training, but I also like online and it's like I said, it's more helpful. There is one thing with a lot of business coaches online, they're like, why would you do in-person training? Like that's taking up your time. You should just focus on the online and put all your work into that, which I get that like my business, yes, would be better if I put more effort into only online, but like I said, I cannot just sit at a computer. Like I gotta get out.
Yeah, that's a super tricky part, to get away from the computer. How do you build up the relationship though online? Because like you said, in person, it's easier, right? You see the people's facial expressions, you can have that personal touch.
Mm-hmm.
Now online, like what is it like with your onboarding process and selecting people that you think would be a good fit to work for you? Because there are times that you do have to say, sometimes like, hey, like maybe we aren't a good fit to work together. What is it like for you, like getting people online and onboarding them and then like building up that personal relationship, but having to do it through a computer?
Yeah, I think from doing in-person training that helps. So if people want to do online, I usually say start with in-person. That way you understand how the training aspect works, and then you can kind of understand it online a little bit better because you know what to say, you know what to do. I also have been lucky because with my Instagram platform, it's kind of catered towards a niche. That's what I'm kind of trying to work around. So the people that come to me generally are more in the niche space that I'm going for. So I haven't had a lot of people that I need to turn away. Um, so I guess like the marketing side helps that. And then with the online space, I just hop on calls with them. It's not all the time, but I definitely do need to hop on calls kind of like this so you at least can see them face to face. It's easier to talk about their week, see how things are going, how they're feeling. I message them a lot, but messages always don't come across like in detail and in depth. So yeah, definitely hopping on calls with them is the best way to go about it.
And then with your programming and how you use, your niche and everything, what do you think are some things that like you kind of focus on, like with your strength training? Because we have a lot of coaches that come on that are speed guys. We have guys that are more in the weight room. We have guys that are like sports specific. For you, I know you're working with women, but like, what is some of and then you also do nutrition. What are some areas that you kind of focus on in like your training programs?
Yeah, I would say it's a lot of hybrid training, like all around healthy. So I give them a weight program, so we're building strength. I also love to add in like some days when they don't have to go in the gym, I'll just give them like a little core circuit so they're really strengthening their core. And then functional fitness is big, so I'll have like endurance based body weight workouts as well. So it's kind of like a mixed bag, so they're not just doing the same lifts, but they're training lots of like little muscles. And I always add in mobility to every program because that's so important and so many people neglect it. So yeah, every program has mobility, and yeah, I do nutrition as well.
How is it to get, you know, I mean, especially for the women's side and even for men, how does it get? to get people to have a healthy relationship with food?
So the thing I do online is I don't just give people meal plans. I think that's what a lot of people do. It's like, here's a meal plan, but I actually coach them. So I've made PDFs explaining like how to eat out, how to navigate the grocery store, how to have a good mindset. So like when you are eating out, like what are you saying with people? Like how can you talk to them and feel more comfortable with the way you're eating? And yeah, just like lots of little tips on feeling more comfortable. And then, yeah, just giving them a lot of guidance on what to eat and how to eat to fuel your body properly. So instead of being like, oh, you have to eat this to fix this, it's like, I should eat this so I can feel better, so I can train better. And then the more that they start learning and the more they start implementing like the healthier options, they start feeling better, and that helps them a lot when they're training and just living their life. Like they just feel better so they know it's working.
Yeah, it sounds like you're touching every avenue that people need to like kind of hear, especially from the women's aspect, and even talking about men too. What do you think, for yourself and for your own business is setting you apart and helping you achieve success compared to, other coaches in the industry?
One thing, like I said, mobility, that's huge. I'm implementing that with the strength training, so it's a mixed bag of both of those to focus on. And then I guess the other thing would be the coaching side of nutrition. It's not just plans, it's actually like guiding them in steps and working on the mindset, because if, like I said in the beginning, if your headspace is not right, training is just not going to be the same. So I think your mind is just as important to train as your body.
Do you ever like in this space, because I know it's hard for a lot of coaches, ever get that imposter syndrome? Like, do you ever like think like, hey, am I doing the right thing? Am I leading my clients in the right direction? Do I actually like I think about it for myself, like being a former athlete. Do I know what I'm talking about? Like, am I saying the right thing? Like, was today's workout a good workout? Like, was it the right steps that they needed? Like, do you ever get that feeling of like, oh man, am I in the right space for myself?
So that is the one thing I am very confident in. I love training. I love learning about it. I love studying. Like I've done it since I was 3. Like I said, it's all I know. Obviously in gymnastics, I had like 2 hours to do school. I didn't do that much like regular school, but even when I was graduating high school, I was like, I'm gonna get my certification. So in high school, I did personal training and nutrition certifications. So that's how much like I love it. So I feel pretty confident in that aspect. Sometimes in the online, like it is harder to gauge if this plan is like doing really well, making sure that that space is fine. For me, it's just the business side. Like I get so in my head about that. That's where I'm always like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Who are on top of that? Who are some coaches that you're like continue to learn from and kind of take bits and pieces from on the online space and in person, right? Because we all are kind of learning from other people, especially when we're just now starting in the industry. And not saying that we're taking everything they're doing, but there's obviously pieces that they've done that have worked for them and have helped them reach success. Like, who are you kind of modeling your stuff after and taking bits and pieces from and continuing to expand yourself on the knowledge?
It's just a wide range of people. A lot of it is from my gymnastics background, so just from my coaches, I learned what I did like and what I did not like. Took those together, helped me. And then have you heard of Jeff Nippert? Nippert? I forgot
I
how to say his
haven't.
name. I love his stuff. And then Jordan Syatt is another guy that I like his stuff. He has some good.
So if you had to, you know, give a message across to, or one message that you kind of relay a lot to a lot of your women and a lot of your clients that you're working with,
Yeah, I think
what is
it's
that
just
that message that you're
consistency. Like,
delivering
you
to
do
them?
not have to go all in, because a lot of times, if you just make so many changes at once and go all in, which, yes, we want to go all in, but at the same time, if you're trying to fix everything all at once, that's when a lot of people just end up giving up and they're like, oh, this is for me. Like, I can't do it. You can totally do it. Just maybe take small steps at a time. What's that thing? It's like, how do you eat an elephant? It's like one bite at a time. I think that's what it is. Yeah, you have to do the same with your fitness, because that's even with nutrition. Like, people try to make
Yeah.
the biggest changes in nutrition, and then they end up binging because they don't let them have any treats or anything like that. So kind of just figuring out what you enjoy and how you can make it a balanced and healthy lifestyle versus just like super strict.
If you look back at 16-year-old Sarah, you know, what would you, with all the knowledge that you have
Just to
now and all
keep
the
going
stuff that
and
you've
keep
been through,
your head
what would you
high,
tell her?
because failure is not always a setback, it's a step forward. That's something I've been working on a lot, is like not letting failure get to you, because it's not exactly failure, it's just something to learn from.
Yeah, I mean, we all go through those failure times and stuff. And I know you have your own podcast too, right? Could you tell us
Yeah, thanks.
like a
It's
little bit
called
more about
Bonding
that and how
Time.
we can find it, where it's at,
It's
and what it's
me and
all
my
about?
husband. He's from New Zealand. So we have a couples page on Instagram. And basically, we do fitness, just fun lifestyle content. A lot of things on bonding time. It's honestly just like connecting and getting to know more about us. But we also share a lot of tips on like how to navigate the gym, like how to navigate getting motivated. It's a wide range, but it's basically just sharing more insight. Kind of like your podcast, like you don't fully get to know a person just in like short reels. So it's truly getting like to know us and question and answers, just lots of fitness info as well.
How do you guys stay motivated? Like, what is some of the motivation stuff that you guys use? And when the motivation fails, like, how do you
One
stick to
is
your disciplines? Like, what
consistency,
are like
because
what are
if
some
you
tips
are
that you're
not
giving to
consistent,
people out
it's
there?
easy to fall off, obviously. So it's just getting a consistent routine, and then that helps you be able to stay on it. Even when you're not motivated, you're like, it's my gym day. I know I feel better when I go to the gym, so I'm gonna go, because it's just like ingrained in you, if that makes sense. So just finding a consistent routine you can stick with usually helps with the motivation, because it won't always be there. But if you have like that routine that you've been sticking with, it helps so much, because there's times where I don't even want to go to the gym. And I love the gym, but I know the benefits I have from it, and I usually feel good after. So I feel like most people won't regret uh, like going to the gym and doing a workout.
Are you a workout alone in the gym person, or do you like to work out with a partner? Because it
It's
sometimes gets a little tricky when you work out with a partner, but you want to go super fast in your workout and like get it done, and they want to kind of like take
it
the rest
depends.
time and all
So
this
I
stuff. So
have
do you
very
prefer a
interesting
partner, or do
training,
you
because
just
I
like to
do a
work
lot
out
of
by yourself?
acro and calisthenics. So my training is very different than a lot of like the average gym people. So on those days, if I have like my handstand training, things like that, I like to do it on my own, just kind of be in my happy zone. But then there's other times, like if I'm at the CrossFit gym and doing like a CrossFit WOD, I do not want to do that by myself. So that's when like I need some people with me to keep it going and get like the music bumping.
With the hybrid training, are you training for anything specific right now? Like, what are you
Well,
like
I
doing all
think
the
right
handstands and all that
now,
stuff? Like, what are you
the ending
working
you just
towards
said,
with all
for
of that? Like
myself,
for
like it's just
yourself?
for me to enjoy my training. I really love doing handstands and having skills, so it's fun to kind of work towards skills. That kind of gives me a goal to have like the why behind my training. Gymnastics, like I said, it burned me out so bad. It's been like 4 or 5 years, and now I'm starting to get to where I'm like, maybe I could compete again, because it was just too much. But I'm wanting to maybe compete in high rocks competitions with my husband sometime. Have you heard of those? Yeah. I think we're gonna work on doing that. He's in rugby right now, but when he's
Yeah, heard of them a lot.
kind of figuring out his way after that, we might compete in those.
Okay. Now, getting into the industry, what is something you wish you would have known before you got in that you know now? Yeah. Now, for our next coach that comes on, what's one question you would love to hear us ask? Not sure yet, but sure we'll figure it out. Yeah. Yeah, that's a super important question. Now, Sarah, before we get out of here, we got our 60-second round. All right. It's one word answers and it's 10 questions. Are you ready for it? All right, here we go. 60 seconds on the clock. Favorite post-workout snack? Favorite sport? We can count that. Dream vacation spot? Guilty pleasure food? Best concert you've ever been to? All right, favorite movie genre? Best gym you've ever been to? Dream car? What is your number one flaw as a coach? Would you rather be in an octagon with a gorilla, tiger, or a bear? And that is it. Coach Sarah, thank you for your time. And thank you for coming on today. So much knowledge dropped in there. Again, even if you're not on the women's side and you're not looking for nutrition, reach out to Coach Sarah, right? She has a lot of knowledge here that she's dropping for a lot of people. And she also works with people in person, right? She's getting ready to move to Austin, right? So if you are in the Austin area, go ahead and check her out. Check out her Instagram. She's doing a lot of great work. And also check out her podcast. I'm going to check it out because I want to learn some more about what she's doing out there. Alpha Land, that's a huge one. Like, yeah, how do you forget that? Man, yeah. And we're out of here.